Okay. We all set? Most importantly, Jen, are you ready? We don't start until you give us the thumbs up. We're still having some technical connection issues. You ready, Eric? Give a thumbs up. We good? Okay. All right. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Adams. I'm the vice president. President Carnation has a limited voice tonight with a sore throat, so he has asked for me to stand in, and thank you, Rich. I'm happy to help. This is the regular Thursday, August 18th school board meeting of the Windsor Unified School District. Jen, could we have a roll call, please?
President Carnation.
Here.
Vice President Adams.
Yes, here.
Trustee Ahmad.
Here.
Trustee Heights.
Here.
Trustee Lopez.
Here.
Student Board Member Jackson Caligari.
Okay, thank you. If we could all rise for the flag salute. I'll step in if it's all right with you, Rich, since you're short of voice. Thank you. Ready, begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Superintendent Decker, do we have a report out of closed session? Thank you very much. Item 3.1, any adjustments to the agenda? Just to give everybody a heads up, we will have one of the recognitions, I think, under the superintendent's report be flexible depending on when the person to be recognized arrives. That'll move us to 3.2, public comment on non-agendized items or items on the consent calendar. Come on down.
Is the timer running? You got the timer running?
Depends if you're doing well. Terry.
Okay.
You got your regalia on, so I
Yes,
think
yes,
you
I'm representing
get at
tonight.
least 30 more seconds for that.
Good evening. My name is Terry Oden. I'm a Windsor High School grandparent, and I am this year's secretary of the Windsor High School Boosters Incorporated. And it is in that latter role I'm here tonight. We will be having our annual first of the year general membership meeting on September 12th at 6:30 p.m. in room D103 at the high school. Room D103 is right off of the north parking lot, easy to find. We will be presenting our 2022-2023 budget, which means our goals. We'll be sharing with all of you up there on the TV land and all that, how you can help us achieve those goals. Any questions?
I do, Terry. In the era now of Zoom and Teams or whatever, are those meetings a hybrid where they're both in person and virtual? And if not, would you think about doing that? I don't mean to pin you down for now, but think about it if you're not doing it.
Yeah, we're not doing it right now.
Okay.
We haven't done it, or we didn't at all last year that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And I was at, I think, all the meetings last year. I suppose we could. We've had to really reorganize. We wound up with no social media presence because everything was in a member of the board from last year's name, and we couldn't convert it. So we're in the process of creating a website and all those kinds of things. So it's a possibility. The big thing for boosters, although our board meetings are open to anybody, we only hold 3 general membership meetings a year. And that's part of our bylaws. In fact, our bylaws right now say 2. We're thinking of amending that. So kind of maybe not a big reason to do that because the board is 6 people. But anybody can drop in. Before I sit down, is anybody here from Somos, Windsor? Because I don't want to steal their thunder, but I saw this that homecoming for Windsor High School is September 17th. And I got to put my glasses on to read this announcement they posted. In collaboration with Somos Windsor not-for-profit organization, the Windsor Prom Dress Project is collecting clean and gently used homecoming dresses to share with students in our community as part of the Wear Then Share program. And I believe that we're all in this together, boosters and all of these people. So homecoming dress donations are starting now. If you have an extra dress in your closet that could be a HOCO dress, would you be willing to give it away? They would love to take it. Text 707-477-3896 for drop-off details. And I can't answer any questions about that one.
Well, thank you
good?
very much, Terry.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your leadership. Any other member of the public who would like to give public comment on non-agenda items or consent items? Okay, thank you. Seeing none, we'll move on to 3.3, the report from our student board member, Jackson Caligari.
Yeah, this is my first one of these, so I'm excited. This little mic is interesting, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. I do have an accompanying, there we go. Yeah. So this is my first one, and school has just started for me, so I was really focusing on the high school, specifically Windsor High, because that's where I am most of the time. So it's easier for me to attend those events. I did just get a calendar from Jenny with all or a lot of the events that other schools are putting on. So I will be able to attend those more easily. And I will probably also reach out to the principals of each school to kind of talk to them and let them know and ask them if there are any specific events that they'd like me to attend. But to start, these are the first few ones we had at Windsor High this year. With that, I don't know who's control. There we go. So we did have an athletics meeting on the 3rd of August. I was there. I talked a little bit about ASB cards. But as you can see from the photos, the turnout, it was really, really well attended, which is nice to see because athletics are really a big thing on campus. So it's good to see that people are interested. I don't have a tremendous amount to say about that, so I'll move on to orientation. These photos, this is the event that I wasn't able to get photos from because I don't really take photos of anything. I'll have to start doing that, but I kind of ripped these from various Instagram accounts. So we did have athletics. I don't know if we had a specific booth for tennis, but we did have an athletics booth there. So we were telling kids about the athletic program. We were distributing yearbooks, ASB stickers, and Mr. Adams, you were there with me. We gave presentations to a lot of the freshmen, incoming parents, to kind of let them know about the school. Talked a little bit about the leadership program. All in all, it went really well, and it was a good way to get people kind of comfortable with coming back to school. That's about all I have. Oh, and this one wasn't a public event, but I was there, so I figured I'd comment on it. We did have the leadership workshop, which the leadership program puts on every year. I am up there in pink, and I'm very wet, which was that shirt is going to take a little bit of work to clean, but it went really well, and we have a lot bigger leadership program this year. We went from 2 to 4 classes. So that bodes really well for the future of the program, and leadership, while this program was kind of closed to the public, does really affect everything. Like they're putting on homecoming, and they are, partnering with Somos Windsor to do that whole dress project. So they do a lot, and it's good to know that they, or I suppose we, are trying to kind of keep that going. And then I believe this is my last one. Jaguar Kickoff. This was our second one of the year. Last year, I helped kind of run it. This year, I was doing that less, but that was actually nice because I got to kind of experience the event more. One of the more successful things was clubs got really, really good signups, which is nice to see because at the start of the year, we're trying to see, who wants to come and join these organizations on campus. Last year, we had a lot of trouble with that because it was first year back from COVID. We kind of had 2 freshman classes, and the freshmen are kind of nervous to join clubs right off the bat. But we had a lot of signups, especially for clubs like Committee for Change, which I know has been in here a lot. Best Buddies, I believe, was pretty popular. Things like S Club I saw, and Bring Change to Mind got a lot of signups, which is really, really nice. I didn't include any photos of my own clubs up here because I was mad that I somehow didn't end up in any of those photos. But I am, you probably can't see it, but I am in the background of the chess photo, kind of sprinting directly at the camera. So I did include that one. We also had performances from cheer and the dance team, and a lot of captains for our sports team spoke to kind of get people excited for the year. And we had food trucks, stuff like that. Again, information on athletics and selling ASB stickers. So kind of all these events have that through line. We're really trying to get people ready, educated, and excited for the school year. And I think this one was probably our most successful in doing that. So that was pretty good. And that is the extent of my presentation for today.
Any questions by members of the board?
Yes, in the past, trustees have been referees at the homecoming powder puff games. And I don't know if that'll be happening again or if we'll be asked to be involved, but if you could get us the dates for that from leadership and potentially offer that to us again, if you could. It's a fun event. Oh, we got a hand in the audience.
Yeah,
September
I was getting there.
23rd. Thank you. I'll check my calendar and we can talk about who's going to attend. But Bill and I have done it. Bill and Stephanie have been involved in the past also. I don't know if anybody else is interested, but it's a fun evening to go out and watch the girls battle on the field and rah-rah and cheer for everybody and have a good day. So
I will help if you need it. Even though I'm a senior, I can definitely be impartial.
okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jackson. Appreciate that. Any comments from the public on Jackson's report? I want to make sure that you all get your shot. Okay. With that, we'll move to item 3.4, the superintendent's report. Mr. Decker.
Yeah, so just a few things. Obviously, there's a lot going on at the beginning of the year. A couple of things that took place where we had our district administrative retreat. The board came, district admin and site admin all got together, got to know each other. We worked on our pillars for organizational excellence, and there's 4 aspects that go into that. We have definitions of success, measures, and then how to measure our success and what that data is going to be, and then our actions. So I also want to thank the Foley family who allowed us the use of Chalk Hill Winery to host this. It was a 2-day retreat. They gave us a huge discount, so we were able to do it. We had earmarked about $3,000, and we were looking for places, and all the wineries were like $16,000, and they did it for $1,000 just to help us out. So it was very nice. Really appreciate what they did. The kickoff seemed to go well. It was great to get everybody back together and to see the principals in their aprons cooking for everyone. We did breakfast tacos, and I think it went over well. And also have to thank boosters who covered the cost of most of the event. They contributed up to $1,000, and I know we used almost every dollar. And C-Star donated all the fruit at the event, and then Starbucks donated the coffee. So a lot of people came through to help us out. And then talk about the beginning of school before I get into thank Ryder. Beginning of school, so we have a new program in TK, right? We've expanded, and Cali has never had more than 48 students in TK. This year we have 99 students. We projected 100 and we have 99. Maddie's never had more than 28 students. We're currently at 88 students. So that's what we were hoping for, right? And it did come through. Enrollment for kinder is also up. So Cali's easy to project because we're usually turning students away. So we projected 118, we have 117. But I had to say, Maddie, we projected 117 students, so we're at 137 students right now, which bodes well for us, right? We want to build up our lower grades so they move through. Another new program for us is our WELL program, which is our Windsor Educational Learning Lab after school, before school program. We have consolidated what we're doing. We were going to be serving both Maddie and Cali, TK2. We decided to do just TKK at Cali and then TK2 at Maddie. And that's just for this year. Next year, we're hoping to expand again, but it was just due to staffing. And so right now at Maddie in the morning, we're serving 24 TKKers and 20 first and second graders. And in the afternoon, we're serving 60 of each of those. So TKK, 60 kids, first and second grade, 120 kids in the afternoon. And we have a wait list of 24 TK and K students and 16 first and second graders. So we didn't want a wait list, and we're trying to actively hire. And just of note, Boys and Girls Club also is short right now. And so they were supposed to serve 300 students for us, and they're having trouble hiring as well. Yes, sir.
Superintendent Decker, if people are out there listening or have a friend or family member that's interested, how do they find out where to apply for these jobs or what the jobs may entail? Do they contact our HR director? Do they go by the school site? What's the best manner for people that might want a job working with wonderful kids in our community?
I mean, the easiest way is to go on to EdJoin, EDJOIN, but they can also just come into the district office and we'll help them. So not everybody wants to go on the computer and fill out all these crazy applications. If they just come to the district office and talk to us, we can walk them through everything. We also have, I believe, everything posted on our website because we have a well-specific, Windsor Education Learning Lab specific website, and we posted there. So we posted all over the place.
And these are jobs that do not require a teaching credential
Correct.
or special certifications. They'll get on-the-job training, things like that.
For the most part, some of them do require early education units. It just depends on the job, but there are other jobs that do not. On that note, so I should talk about Cali and then I'll talk a little bit about who we've hired. So at Cali, we're serving 43 first through eighth graders in the morning and 28 TKKers at Cali. And in the afternoon, we're serving 60 TKK students. So the same amount that we're serving at Maddie. They have a wait list of 27 TKK. So we need to hire. Now, some of the successes, we have some really highly committed staff. This was, we are first in the county here. In fact, I'm on a number of boards and we're talking about this and we're putting on an event for the rest of the county. And I'm probably going to present at that event, just to kind of describe what we've been going through and how we've pulled this off. Some of our critical learnings is, policies and procedures. Anytime you start something new, you learn, right? Day one, you learn something. Day two, you learn more. Day three, you get better every day. And so we've had our growing pains for sure. We've had some staff that said, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. And so they've stepped down and we've rehired. We have a couple positions open, Eric, to your point. So we have the Cali site coordinator. We had somebody hired. They ended up stepping down. And then we need 6 more high school students. Help us out, Jackson. So a major part of our program is that we've hired 17 of our students. And so they're there every day working with these kids, and we found them to be amazing, honestly. There's always some trepidation when you're hiring people under 18 years old, but honestly, our under 18-year-old employees and 18-year-olds, I guess, have simply been awesome. So very proud of what we're doing. We've added a TK and a K classroom at Maddie because of our enrollment that I just described. That's great. It did take away 2 classrooms from our well program. So we're just trying to work through some of these kinks, right? I want to give you the full picture of what we're doing. I think that we're going to get it. What are we, 5 days in now, roughly? So with time, we've got this, and we're getting better every day, truly. So it's a great program. There you go. All right, now, Mr. Ryder. Just want to say thank you. Ryder went on his dad's show, Guys Grocery Games, and on a holiday episode, he won $10,000. And he decided to give it to us, Windsor Unified. So $5,000 went to culinary and $5,000 went to athletics. And I believe we have an example of what we purchased for athletics. Is that right? I thought I saw it here. Oh, he's sitting in it. No wonder. All right.
Gotta bring it up, Ryder.
So thank you for those that you're sitting in right there. And then we're also talking about for culinary, the purchase is going to go towards some sort of food vehicle. How about that? Because we're not sure exactly what it's going to be. It depends on how much money we can raise. So either a food trailer or a food truck, depending on what we can pull off. But thank you for what you did. Appreciate you. I got to watch the episode, and now I think everybody else is going to get to watch this bad boy as well.
9 pointing, 40 points, earn 80. Congratulations. So congratulations, Fultagio, Ryder Fieri. Well done.
We took the dub.
I think that makes me like part of the family at this point.
It might have.
$10,000, Ryder, going to Windsor High School. $5,000 is going to the culinary program, and $5,000 is going to the athletic program, correct?
Yeah.
And I know that Windsor High School will really appreciate it. So we're not going to let Jules and Hunter go unrecognized, though. Hunter, we will make a $2,500 donation in your name to OBR, Operation Barbecue Relief. And Jules, $2,500 to Redwood Gospel Mission. So there you go. Ryder Fieri, Michael Voltaggio, our champs. You guys take care of your family. Have great holidays. We'll see you next week. Adios.
Probably are the most surprised.
That was a miss.
Let's do a picture real quick.
Awesome. So Ryder, I know, is here with his family and his brother. Love you to come up, bring the chair with you. We'll do a picture. Come on up, all four of you. Certainly, you're the belle of the ball, Ryder. If you'd like to give us a comment or two of what you were thinking about and why you made that donation. And then once we get that picture, we'll have Mr. Williams and we have another presenteo for you. So why don't you give us 2 cents worth in the family tradition from the microphone? You can even invite that other celebrity guy next to you if you'd like. We'd do all four of you.
Right here?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you all you guys. It was a really good experience on that show, and I love my school, so to give back to them was really nice, and hope we can put it towards a good cause.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I don't know.
Well, we'll take it up here in front of you. We'll stand behind you.
Oh, we're gonna get right up there.
Yeah, come on up, and Ms. Gannister, why don't you come on up and we'll do you in a second.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Great presentation, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know what president, what corporation you're gonna be.
Slide on over, guys. We'll all get together.
Where's the little truck? The little truck.
He's a professional now.
There you go. That's your shot.
I love it mostly when they turn the sideways.
Yeah. So hold on, Ryder.
Before
You can
you
sit.
walk away.
You can sit in the chair here because Ms. Gannister has another thing for you.
So, thank you, Ryder.
Are we thinking of Ryder or Michael Voltaggio?
No, we're thanking Ryder because Voltaggio, he just, it's Ryder. He was the star of that episode. Didn't you see it? Oh, sorry. Anyway, Windsor High School Culinary Arts and Athletics departments would like to thank you, deeply thank you, and acknowledge your generous contribution to improve our school spirit and to increase opportunity for all of our students. And on behalf of the culinary program and athletics, we thank you from the bottom of our heart. There is a thank you letter from the school for the donation and a certificate, and I will just.
And let's plan to win some dubs. in
So,
those seats.
Marie, let's get you and Jamie and Brian and everybody up here. Hold that up, Ryder, and we'll get a picture with that one too. Go ahead, Ben. And open that bad boy up, Ryder. There we go.
Are we supposed to stand?
Yep. Come on.
Yep, I'm coming. Yep.
You good? Well done. Thank you very much, Ryder. Congratulations.
Bye there.
Mr. President, I know that I am not on the agenda, but I do have to say something on behalf of the Fieri family. We moved up here. Hunter went to Cali. Hunter went to Cali till 6th grade. And I had a restaurant up here at Johnny Garlic's back in the day. And Windsor was just a small emerging town. And I remember all the development that was taking place and never thought this was going to turn into this. I mean, it's the square is amazing. What you guys are doing, how you're leading, the schools that you have, the education that Ryder has received. We hadn't even moved to Windsor yet, and we brought him to Windsor Middle because of how it was being taken care of, how it was being led, how was the focus on education and the focus on the culinary program. And we've had a great opportunity through our foundation to make donations and be involved. And I'll go on and on. I'm the biggest cheerleader. I think that what you're doing and how you're handling things and how involved you are. It's like I just, Jeremy, just to listen to your report, it's embarrassing to me that someone's going to charge you $16,000 to hold an event. Okay, you're educating the community. You're educating the future of our community. But you should be very proud of yourselves. I know, listen to Jackson speak was just great. In our family, we try to be involved in our schools and help out. It was Ryder's decision that he wanted to make the donation. I didn't tell him where it was going to go. I might have said that, you want to split it up because Gannister, don't get Marie mad. No, but honestly, he made that decision. I thought that was so great. When a kid it wasn't even 16 has school spirit, that he wants to be involved. Hi, Pete. I didn't see you. When a kid has school spirit, they wants to be involved and give us $10,000. That means it's being led from the top. The whole program's going in the right direction. So we try to help out. I know we made a donation to help with the food, whatever we're going to call it. Marie's team really gave us a big hand. We raised a bunch of money for a chef that was just recently injured. We called her. She showed up with an army. Great support with that. We try to do a lot of fundraising to benefit first responders and military and all folks that need some support. And we have a lot of that in this community. We're a rich community and a poor community at the same exact time. You know that, what we're facing. So thanks for recognizing my kid. He's amazing. And you guys really take the time to do stuff like this. Just shows how many boots are on the ground and what kind of impact you're making in our kids' lives. So keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Well, thanks very much to the whole Fieri family for coming.
Thanks for
Appreciate
cutting
it.
us in and making time. We just got done shooting grocery games. I mean, literally like 5 minutes ago. So
Wow.
we rushed here. And you were all welcome to come, by the way, or compete.
Yeah.
I like the compete part.
Yeah, I want to compete.
Against the principals or something.
Ooh, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, I think like a buffet and a little break now, and we're good. Thank you, Rich. That was fun. Wow. My hair feels like it's pushed back like Guy's in when you're kind of in his energy bubble. That is really
Always spike yours up like he does.
Yeah, fix the gray. Okay, wow. Okay, Freeland, man, you just be like Guy Fieri. He's the one, Staff Association reports, Brother Freeland from CSEA.
What a tough act to
Let's see. I
follow.
was just going to say, let's see you follow that one with your spikes.
So I'm Brad Freeland, CSEA Windsor Chapter President, and the first thing I'd like to do is congratulate Sharon Ferrer and Pete Sullivan on their new positions. Thank you. At a state level, we are always lobbying to get more money for schools. One of our big bills was SB 878, sponsored by Senator Skinner. We didn't get everything we asked for, but we got 60%, which amounted to $673 million, which covers a part of home-to-school transportation. So it's a good chunk of money for Windsor. It would have been about $1 million if we'd have gotten everything we asked for, which would help fund home-to-school transportation. I spent a lot of time on the committee I'm on lobbying people to support this bill. So we're very proud of what we were able to do. Going forward, you have something on the agenda about some job descriptions. I have received them back from CSEA Legal. They are on our agenda for next week, which I am sure we will ratify those job descriptions. So way to go. Thank you. We also changed our constitution and bylaws. We do now in-person and Zoom hybrid for all of our chapter meetings. So our attendance has been way up. The last chapter meeting, we were blessed to have Austin and Jeremy there to help support the tentative agreement we had. And we had a total of almost, it was over 130 people, which is more than 50% of our total membership. And it was great for them to see the leadership in person. The other thing we have coming up is our successor contract. Our whole contract expires in October, so we are looking forward to bringing forward the things we want to change and looking at what the district wants to change so that we can clean up some of the language in the contract. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Hang on, Brad. Any questions or comments from the board to Brad? Okay.
Thank you.
I know this is an election year, and though not for me, is CSEA going to do a candidate interviews, evaluation, anything like that, just for the good of the public?
I want to. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to go down to the registrar's office and find out who's running. So hopefully I can fit that in next week.
Okay.
And yes, we will do that if I can put it together.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And the Windsor District Educators Association.
Good evening, Susanna Pfeffer, WDEA Vice President. President Laura Gonzalez asked me to tell all of you she couldn't make it because she couldn't find parking.
Susanna, could you pull the microphone down by your face? So, thank you.
Yes, President Laura Gonzalez could not find parking. I just took one pass around and there was one. So it's just patience, I guess, or parking karma. We have a very, very short report. We have a new executive board. Laura Gonzalez from Windsor Middle School is the president. I'm the vice president, teach math at the high school. Our secretary is Diane Green, social studies teacher at the high school, and our treasurer is Mike Sweeney, math teacher at the high school. We just wanted to let you all know that school has started, that the children are happy and having fun, and we are looking forward to a year of learning, growth, new experiences, and your teachers are exhausted after the first week. We are 1/36th of the school year done. I did want to thank Jackson for being on the panel and to remind you that at Windsor High School, we have many, many wonderful fine arts classes, including digital photography, where I'm sure you would learn how to Photoshop yourself into any of those photographs you were not in. So, school board, thank you for serving for us. We do have 4 candidates running for 3 positions. We have Rich Carnation that's running for reelection, trustee Eric Heitz, trustee Stephanie Ahmad, and a Windsor resident, Paul Cargorno, that's thrown his hat into the ring as well. And that is coming up. And WDEA is planning on doing some sort of candidate interviews very, very soon. So anyway, thank you.
Any questions for Vice President Pfeffer? All right. Thank you, Susanna, for coming. All right. Item 3.6, Board of Trustees reports. Do you have some? No?
I don't have much. I guess I'll just say welcome back to another year of school. Let's see, Bill and I both spoke at the district kickoff. It was great to see all of our district staff there. And we have a lot of new faces, so it was just a fun morning, and I agree that the breakfast tacos really seemed to liven up the mood and the atmosphere. I've been particularly interested in the WELL program and the pre-K program since they're new, and I appreciated your report. It sounds like everything's going really, really well. I'm really impressed by us kind of beating the projections that beating projections, and we just have to keep hiring and adjust, but we're only 1 week in, so there's time, and I think it's all going to work. That's really all I have. I don't know if anyone else has anything.
Sure.
Yeah, I wanted to echo the report that Superintendent Decker gave about the team building activities that we had at the Chocolate Winery, and thanking the Foley family as well. It's a wonderful venue. Couldn't ask for a better place to visit and to participate in for the day or two that we were there. And a little bit of a congratulations to HR Director Sullivan for being on the winning team, building the tallest tower as the icebreaker. And Sharon Ferrer as well. It was the district leadership. Yeah, Special Ed Director Ryan back there. So all the leadership of the district office, aside from Superintendent Decker, I think, was involved in that group. Yeah, we had a little struggle. Too many cooks and not enough decisions being made. So
I think they knew the tower was coming. I think they had planning time.
it was a fun activity to kind of break the ice and to get everybody in a good mood, and a lot of important information that day, a lot of great discussions. As they worked a second day, I wasn't able to attend, but thanks again for hosting that and for including all of us. And it was very valuable to see all of our staff in action and know that we have a good group that's ready to dive into a new school year and all the new programs we have. And I look forward to some more positivity coming soon. So thank you.
I just want to let the staff know that you have a great leader there, because he asked us, the board members, to kind of take a dive, to build confidence with you guys, and we did. So, not to diminish, but because the first week of school went so good because of your extra zeal and confidence you had. So, Superintendent Decker, you are so wise. But thank you.
Man, I don't even know how to swim through that, Rich. Now, you have anything? I just wanted to make mention to Superintendent Decker. I've had two different nonpartisan groups in the community ask about potentially using the Windsor Theater for candidate forums, potentially having video on to stream onto our Channel 27 here. And I said, I don't know how that would work, but if you hear from somebody, whoever that might be, I know we have a facility use fee process, but to let you know that was coming out of the community. And I thought that was helpful that they see that resource as a community resource to figure out a way to work with their schools that taxpayers are paying for. So I just wanted to let you know that and say that publicly. Okay. With that, we will go to item 3.7, the approval of minutes from March 10, April 25th, May 19th, May 26th, and June 16th board meetings. Are there any comments or changes to the minutes before we entertain a motion to approve them, which we'll do as a group? Okay. Is there a motion to approve those 6 sets of minutes?
Also move.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie.
I'll make the second motion.
Okay, second by Eric. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. That would be 5 plus 1. Yeah, good. Thank you very much. With that, we'll go to our consent items as listed under number 4. Superintendent. Eric Heights, please.
Not a superintendent, never desired to be one. but
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, item 4.1 through 4. Excuse my motion here. 4.1 through 4.19 is on the docket for tonight. I've been asked to pull for review item 4.4. So we will look into some wording on some of the description that's there and bring that back at a later date. But I would make motion to approve items 4.1 through 4.19, exclusive of item 4.4 at this time.
Again, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions by members of the trustees on the consent items except for 4.4, which we'll take a little deeper dive in? I did have one, Superintendent Decker or whoever is handling it. I'd be very interested to hear a little bit more. I thought the board packet was tremendous on 4.19, the North Coast Opportunities Foster Grandparent Program, which sounds amazing and makes me scratch my head wondering, where has this been these many years that we weren't doing?
Same. I didn't search that out. I was lucky enough to have somebody come and search us out. This is an organization that runs through our area, and they have placed grandparents into schools in different school districts. And there's a grandparent who was interested in being placed in our school district. And so it caused them to come meet with me. And it requires minimal work. They pay the grandparent a nominal fee. It's not us. Our responsibilities are really to treat the person well, right? And to make sure that, we're helping them to help the students. I thought it was a no-brainer. Very excited to have this in our district, and hopefully we can grow it as people learn more about it. I think that this is just a great program for us to kick off.
We had a grandparent speak a little while ago. Maybe there's some more interest involved.
Well, I'll get Terry for sure.
Well, thank you. We certainly can never have too much love or mentoring, and I just thought that was a wonderful fill-in. Any comments from the public on these consent items except for 4.4? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board. All those in favor of approving the consent items?
Did we get a second motion?
We did.
Okay, I forgot to.
Thank you.
Sorry.
From 4.1 to 4.19, except for 4.4. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. And aye for me. Okay, that's 5 plus 1. Thank you. Okay, so now if we could pull 4.4, and I think, Rich, you had some questions on that job description for the athletic director, and Pete, maybe if you could ask those questions and then Pete could respond to clarify that.
Yeah, it wasn't so much of a question as much as on the experience required. Can we change that to experience preferred? And then the reason why is over the many, many years that I was a coach here, sometimes some folks don't want to be the athletic director, And some of the people that will do it or can do it, they may not have 5 years of related experience as an athletic director or something in some sort of administrative work. As a matter of fact, so anyhow, that was the reason why to change that to preferred. Since this is a board policy, I think I don't want someone eliminated because they don't have it. Whereas it's preferred, like a lot of the other things that we do, we say it's preferred. So that way we can cast a wider net if need be. I don't want to eliminate somebody who could be excellent just because they may not have had the opportunity yet. So that was my ask or whatever.
We can make the change now if there's general consensus on the board, and you can take a vote based on the changed language, and we could do it now.
I think you're proposing an amendment, Rich, which is good. Maybe we could have Pete respond and let us know if that's, if you'd like to, please.
Yeah, thank you, President Carnation. I'm fine with the language change. I like to cast a wide net as well. I know that we have a lot of experience out in our community, and I would love to have more people apply for the position than less. So I'm fine with the adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to be real clear. I know Jamie Williams is doing an awesome job, and we don't want her to ever go away, but
Correct.
Father Time works on everybody. And so since this is a policy that's going to go on for a long period of time, I just want to make sure that we have the most flexibility down the road as possible as a district.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Before we vote, I do have a question.
Yeah.
My question is it a requirement to have a teaching credential for this position?
Typically speaking, so in larger districts, this position is hired for. Most candidates will have a master's degree, and many of them come with a credential, but not all.
Okay.
If they are, most start in education, so they will have a teaching credential. But I do have a friend specifically who works in Idaho. I know it's outside of California, but he doesn't have a teaching credential. He just has his master's in sports leadership, and he has a job as a district-wide AD in Idaho without the teaching credential.
And we're very fortunate to offer that as a full-time position, but most schools do not. And so the person would be teaching, as I do. I'm in that position as well.
Even out at Forceville, at one point, they didn't have a teacher. They actually had a person who had their master's, but they didn't have a teaching credential either. And I think he was the AD for 2 or 3 years. So anyhow, I just preferred, I think, covers us both ways. So that way there's some flexibility in case an extraordinary opportunity comes available. And we're not limited to very strict language. So.
Melanie, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board about this item before we bring it back? Okay, with that, are you clear, Pete, where preferred is going to be changed in the policy based on the suggestion of Rich?
I'm not looking at the document now, but I recognize
clear.
there's a section that's in bold. I think it says required.
It says experience
At the very
required.
end.
Yep, I'll change it.
Okay, great. And got a nod from Decker, the scrivener over there. Good. Okay, so with that, as I understand, and I'd entertain a motion, Rich, that this is to approve the job description under 4.4 as amended to change from required to preferred. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, first to Rich, second with Stephanie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes 5+1. Thank you very much. That concludes the consent calendar. Moving to then the discussion action calendar. Item 6.1, consideration of approval of MOU between WUSD and Sonoma State University for placement.
5.1.
We didn't have a 5 section, so they took the 6s to become 5s.
It threw me off too.
Okay. So we're having a technical adjustment.
Didn't have reports that were usually under 5.
I understand it. We could have had a gap in 5 and keep action under 6. But so item 5.1, Pete, you're up on the MOU with Sonoma State for student teacher replacement and interns.
Good evening and thank you. I want to start by saying I recognized some language earlier Vice President Adam used mentors, which are so vastly important in all of our education experience. Coaching and teaching is riddled with mentors. And I think the root of the first couple of items is in mentorship. And allowing the purpose of these agreements is to define the respective roles of the two parties. So it would be Sonoma State University and Windsor Unified School District to allow the Sonoma State University students to teach on our campuses under the mentorship of our phenomenal teachers. And Sonoma State has an exceptional, well, we have representation here. Sonoma State has an exceptional teacher counseling program, and they produce wonderful teachers. And let's not forget that we like to grow our own here in this community, so we have the opportunity to perhaps snare some of them once they get a taste of our phenomenal culture.
A question.
Yeah.
How many students do we typically have placed from Sonoma State? Do you know, like in a given year?
Not very many. So talk to Dr. Alamil about this, and one of the issues that they have is Windsor's far away from Sonoma State, according to many of those students. And so we're talking about, actually she and I are talking about how we can get more, potentially have some sort of satellite placement up here. So anyway, not a lot. We're hoping to increase that.
Okay, because I had a discussion recently, I think with a board member from another school district, and I think there was conversation about how Santa Rosa really gets a hold of a lot of these students.
They do.
And they maybe have some kind of preferred agreement, but I think it's similar, maybe preferred hiring or something that they do. So I don't know.
Oh, interesting. I'll look into that. I didn't know that. I know a lot of, I mean, it's just the surrounding area, Santa Rosa, Roanoke Park, and Petaluma get a lot of the students.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can change that. They just
Yeah.
got to get to be a part of our culture.
Yeah, and this is like potentially unrelated to this specific item, but it is related, is maybe a way to get, like, because I think Windsor can feel very far away from Roanoke Park if you maybe are not from this area and you go to school there, and it's like, where is this place? Because you
Right.
have never driven, you would have no reason to drive this direction 20 miles, right? So maybe if we did some kind of, this is just an idea, that if we did some kind of like mixer where we invite Sonoma State students just to come and host an event possibly during the year, make that like a yearly thing that we do, just so they have a reason to drive this direction and see it. Maybe
not a bad
free
idea.
food is always a good
Yeah,
way to lure
right.
people, and like the board could be there, some principals and district leaders, and we could maybe connect some faces to names. Unrelated to what we're voting on now, but just an idea I had,
Sure.
and I thought I would throw
I'm
it
glad
into
you
this
did.
agenda item.
Well, and we got a new food truck, it sounds like, so there you
let's
go.
pull
We
out
got a
the
ways
food
to go
truck.
still. We got a ways to
Yeah.
go, but.
I think maybe the
I
pass and the
wanna
high
make a
capacity
comment.
lane might help.
I'd like to make a comment. So I'd like to add a little bit to what Stephanie was sharing. And I think that some of the challenges are a little bit more than the distance, but also because of the cost of transportation for students. So if you're a student from Los Angeles and you're at Sonoma State, you might not have a car, or you might have, a challenge in the cost of just
Sure.
getting here. So I just wanted to mention that. And then my second comment is, I was wondering if there's some language that you all had in mind, Jeremy, about how this program could possibly configure into our goals about diversity and diversifying the staff in the Windsor School District. I think it's a really important conversation. So I wanted to make sure to make that point.
Absolutely. I think that's, so we're going to have a special board meeting on the 30th of August, I believe. Is that right? And that's going to be a topic that we do discuss. It's been built into, I mentioned the organization, the pillars of excellence, the organization, and it's built into that conversation for a measure, one of our measures. So I think that's probably the appropriate venue to really have a robust conversation. Is that what you were?
Yes, and also I think it's a draw for students that we happen to benefit from having Cali Calmeca in our school district, as far as being a very diverse place that is very attractive, to students that are in the education program at Sonoma State.
For sure.
Okay. So with that, if any other thing you need to add about that?
I actually have one comment. if I could,
Please
really
do.
Quickly. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine today, actually, about specifically one of the teachers at the high school who's starting her second year as a full teacher, Miss Gastineau. And we were just talking about in general how much students, and we really, really like young teachers. They seem to do really well, and they have a kind of an idea of what it's like going to school because they've been there rather recently. So I just wanted to comment on how much students really, really do like to see young teachers coming in. So how much I think this program would be really, really good to keep working on.
Thank you.
Gosh, since we're sharing, I will share that Eric and I sat with a couple of teachers last year and they graduated in yeah, yes and no was one. And we were saying, oh, when did you graduate? And they graduated the same year as our oldest son. And we just went, oh my God, we can't believe teachers are getting younger. And they were so sweet. They said, oh no, teachers are not getting younger. You're just getting a little further away from the age that teachers are when they have gone now to 4 years with a 5th year of credentialing. I wanted to share, since we were sharing about diversity, there is a Hispanic family that is one of the teachers of the high schoolers that are teaching in our WELL program. I think she is a junior. Maybe she's just like a 15 or 16-year-old senior. Her mom was at the new employee luncheon at Brooks and said she desperately wants to be a teacher. And I said, well, we desperately are trying to put together a system of growing our own teachers. And so having the opportunity for high schoolers to get their toe in the water, expanding for a variety of reasons that we need to adapt and make it dynamic. But there's an interest there. You know, when I remember when we talked about, well, that'd be nice if we could do that. That's a very real thing that we're doing now, that we have the ability to let people dip their toe in the water and get that continuum. So good on you.
And I haven't forgotten, it's at the top of my notes every single day, credits for IAs. Is it something we can do? So it's there. I'm thinking about it. We'll work on it.
You want to say what that was when we talked?
You had mentioned at our last meeting that is there some way that that our IAs could potentially earn college credits? So
help us with IA, what that is.
The instructional assistants. So some of our student instructional assistants earning credit for for being IAs.
So in addition to being paid, they could also concurrently get, concurrent enrollment credits. Okay. So wow, we've really just slayed 5.1. With that,
I just want to shamelessly point out, once again, with the students having a hard time with coming to Windsor, the distance, whatever, the ability for us as a board to proceed with possibly having teacher housing over in the Windsor Creek site down the road. Once again, every time we hear something, it just more and more reinforces that type of a concept of, as we put it together, is going to really one more thing that will put our school district in a much more advantageous position where we can get the best teachers available, and we can get that barrier, the housing barrier, to go away for our new teachers. And so I'm glad we're working on that. And maybe when you guys are talking to the Sonoma State folks, say, hey, this is something that's coming down the pipe that we're looking at, and just keep reminding them. So thanks.
Brad, actually, I want to ask you a question. Something I just realized. There are scholarships available for CSEA members to become teachers. And we have 17 students who are now CSEA members.
Absolutely. CSEA supports that 100%. We hate to lose members, but we want teachers.
And our students would qualify potentially for these scholarships, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would.
That didn't dawn on me until this moment. So I wanted to bring it up as something that we'll definitely look into more.
However, we do have to sign them up as members.
Understood.
I know where they work, so. No, thank you. I think that synergy of this, how to maximize this creative opportunity is really good.
Also wanted to make one more comment, going back to our topic of diversity, and that is that many university job descriptions, as well as many job descriptions for school districts, have listed a preference to be the ability to work with diverse student populations. So I think that is also important language that is worth including in job descriptions going forward.
We'll take note of that.
So Bill, as someone who has hosted about 8 math student teachers being their master teacher, I will make motion to approve item 5.1.
Go.
I have one this year starting next month.
I'll second.
All right. Thank you very much. That's been moved and seconded. Thank you, Pete, for starting us robustly into our action items.
Strap in, everybody.
All those in favor of the MOU between Sonoma State and Windsor District?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Put that down at 5+1. Thank you. Okay, carrying on then to 5.2, the student teaching and intern agreement between WUSD and Alliant University.
Similar thing, respective roles and responsibilities of two parties, allowing Alliance students to be mentored by our teachers and also create opportunities for increasing the hiring pool for Windsor and expanding the possibilities for growth of our staff, and then, of course, the education of these students.
Echo
And I'm
it.
sorry, where's that located?
Alliant, I don't have a location of Alliant, to be honest with you. I don't recall. It might be.
Echoing Stephanie's question, do we know how many Alliant students we have? Or
We have
had?
one.
Okay.
We have one.
We currently have one at Shannon Viameyer, who is at Brooks, is working with a student teacher there through Alliant.
Good. Any other comments or questions from the board? Okay, I'd entertain a motion then.
I'll make motion again to approve 5.2.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Mally. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, put that one down at 5.1. I'd say trifecta, but you have 4 in a row, whatever that is. 5.3, request to recognize provisional intern permit, or PIP, for new 5th grade teacher at Cali Kelmick.
Yeah, this is for Derek Ray Leah. He is going to be a 5th grade teacher at Cali. Derek is bilingual and holds a degree in finance. He is an exceptional student himself. He has managed to not have to take the CBEST because of his near perfect SAT scores. He was able to pass through the basic skills requirement with his phenomenal SAT scores. We believe he's a great candidate, and he was honestly the only candidate for the job.
What is that threshold for the SAT performance? Do you know?
For perfection?
Well, or at least CBEST waiver level.
Oh, I don't know what it would be. I
Really
just
high?
know that his was very close to perfect, and so they gave him the wave, but I'm not sure what it would be.
I'll take credit. He was a former student of mine
There
in
you
my
go.
previous district, so must have been everything I did.
Thank you, Yoda, for that. I did call him Yoda. It's the short ears. In a nice way. There's do or don't do, don't try. I remember Yoda saying that. Okay. We're rolling now. Any other questions or comments by the board on item 5.3? Okay, seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Rich. I'll second. We'll mark a little time as we get a third of us back. Okay, we've had a motion and a second for approval of item 6.3. All those in favor?
No, 5.3.
5.3, I'm sorry.
Aye.
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 Yeah. Okay, mark that one at 5.1. You know, Pete, you could probably do it from sitting there next to Sharon if you'd like. Number 5.4, request to recognize the variable term waiver for new 8th grade math teacher at Windsor Middle School.
Yeah, thank you. So you're going to see the trend here. We have 2 PIPs and a variable term. The variable term is for Hanan Jabara. She is a teacher in the To Be a Teacher program. She is a foreign student, so she comes to us from Amman, Jordan, where she has 6 years of teaching experience. And she's unfortunately had struggled to pass the third section of the CBEST. And so we are opting to ask for the CTC for a variable term waiver for that specific portion of the CBEST. She passed the math. Obviously, she has a master's and a bachelor's in math. And she passed the reading section, but the writing section she has not passed yet. But she has signed up for it, and she will take it again. But we are going to ask the CTC to waive that requirement for her so she can fulfill her teaching duties with us in Windsor Unified.
Thank you. I had one question. Is there support programs available either privately for someone who's trying to catch up on the CBEST or through SCO or through our induction connections or anything like that?
I don't want to tell you that I know for certain. I
Okay.
believe there is through SCO.
Okay.
Roll around my neck, but I can't tell you that.
I'd be interested. I don't know that necessarily that's a meet and confer item, but we may have some resources if there's only a handful of folks that, if they're here and you're taking the time to bring us that and they're interested in getting the waiver, if there's, we're making sure we turn off over all those rocks, that would be good, I think.
I'm actually meeting with both Hunter Ferreira and Jenny Reeder from Sonoma County Office of Education to discuss credentials, and her docket is on my list, so I can bring that up because they both work there, and they would be the people who know.
Wonderful. Okay. Any other questions from the board on this item 5.4?
I'd just make a motion, we
Yeah,
approve it.
Absolutely.
I'll second.
Okay, first by Rich, second by Stephanie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, put that one down at 5.1. You're on a roll, Pete.
There we go.
Item 5.5, a request for another provisional intern permit for a new SDC teacher at Maddie Washburn. And if you could explain for those playing at home what SDC is.
A special day class, so it's a special education class, and it is one of the more difficult positions for us to fill in the district because of the specificity of the credentials. And she comes to us with quite a bit of experience. She's been a long-term substitute teacher. She has been a recreation director, and she has a degree in recreational therapy from Cal State Hayward. So she spent quite a few years as a support provider in special education classes, and she has done some long-term subbing in special education as well. And she's already in her second year of the intern program through North County School of Education. So she's almost there, and we are hoping that we can keep her in our district.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, I would entertain a motion then.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Rich. A second?
I'll make the second.
Okay, Rich, then Eric. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, me too. That passes 5+1. Item 5.6, consideration of approval of a declaration of need fully qualifying educators for the 22-23 year. I was sort of interested why that wasn't 6.2. Are these others sort of related to that as an omnibus thing? Not that
Yes.
I'm having going to go back, but
So the declaration of need, without the declaration of need, we can't do the prior three items. So I guess I could have put it at the top and explained it down, but I figured I would just place it there and say, well, in order to bring all those three great people into our schools, we need the declaration of need. So it's a prerequisite of the issuance of any emergency permits for the district. And if we don't have it, then we can't take on people on PIPs and in variable term waivers and all of the other things that we're utilizing right now to fill the roles that we can't fill.
and we had three individuals. What's our average every year in your experience? I know you're new in the HR job, but you've been in the district for quite a while. How many individuals have we had that are on these waivers historically that required this declaration of need?
I don't have a number for you.
No, right up here?
I don't history.
Less than 10, Bill.
Okay.
Somewhere between 0 and 10. It just depends on.
Okay.
Annually?
Yeah. So this seems low to me. That's why I was asking the question. Having done this a couple of times.
There's more to come.
And I know, okay, that's why. I know there was an expanded either waiver or tolling of some of these provisions during COVID. Have those provisions now all sunsetted so that they're not available?
I believe so, but I'm going to defer to Pete on that. But I believe
Okay.
they have.
I'm seeing a bilingual immersion principal nodding her head. You betcha.
Confirmed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And I don't recall the specifics of them, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, things are tightening down. In fact, that is going to lead us into our next thing, which is also a ratcheting down of a few things that are affecting our subs.
Got it. Okay. So any questions, comments from the board on item 5.6? Okay, I would then entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Stephanie and
I'll second.
Malinelli on number 2. Okay, so item 6.6, the declaration, all those in favor?
5.6.
5.6.
5.6.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
All right, okay, 5.1, 5+1. Okay, now we're going to pay for it. Here we go.
All right.
Item 5.7, consideration of approval of increased substitute teacher pay scale for the 2022-2023 school year only.
That's correct. And your reference documents are in paper, high tech just for you, in front of you. So the two, there's the double-sided sheet. One is from last year. It's the 2021-2022 pay rate. It starts with the substitute teacher at 175, district retiree at 200, long-term sub at 195, and the long-term sub who was a district retiree at 220, and then a long section below that regarding allowing retirees coming in with experience to be paid on our pay scale. That has been changed, which is one of those things that sunsetted. So our new pay rate, what we're asking for this year is to have our sub teachers paid at 200, our district retirees at 225, our long-term subs at 225, and our long-term subs who are retirees at 250. This will keep us competitive with our neighboring districts, and that is that awkward sheet with the little tiny waste of paper that I did there. So these are neighboring districts, Healdsburg, Santa Rosa, and Mark West, as well as West County. The only one I wasn't able to confirm online is West County, but I called Erin Elliott, who's a friend of mine over there, and she said they're going from 175 to 200, which is why you see that dividing line there. And she says they're going to 225 for retirees. So we're right in the sweet spot, I think, to keep interest alive, and subs are going to be a thing again this year.
Any questions or comments from the board?
And is it still true, I know it was previous years prior to COVID and all that, that the subs are registered through Sonoma County Office of Education, but they're paid by us? Is that correct?
Yes, they can register for us as well. 99% of the time.
So that way they can be called by any of these neighboring districts. But if we maybe do a little different outreach and they're just in our system, we have them on a, round the clock call kind of thing. We can use them nearly every day, I would imagine, at all the sites we have. It may be a little more enticing to reach out to some of our favorites and make that deal with them.
It's all about how you treat them.
That's right.
So, and I think we've made that clear. And I think our principals know that. More than making it clear, I think our principals realize that. And keep in mind, we've also hired 3 of our own internal district subs that we use every day. They're paid differently than this. They're on the step 1 of our current salary schedule, and they also receive benefits from the district.
I had a question just kind of from a sense of perspective, and perhaps you could share for folks who aren't here. I've heard it and been very persuaded. But what's the rationale and the advantage to the schools and our students for giving preference to retirees that have taught here a sufficient amount of time and they're a retiree for the district?
Well, I mean, just the years of experience, of course, is going to add to their comfort level and their ability to manage a classroom, which is often difficult for substitutes. They have a name and a reputation in the area. They're comfortable with talking with our students, and because they've been teachers, they recognize oppositional behavior. They know how to deal with it in the teacher manner. So it's of benefit to them as well financially. So it helps keep them to be as part of our network, and we like to keep them involved. The theme tonight has been mentors, so just having them on campus is always a benefit to all of us. Just interacting with the younger teachers and the other staff members there are gems that they share on occasion.
Yeah.
So
I'm sold and persuaded. I just wanted to have you say it out loud for the record.
Yeah.
What percentage of our substitutes do you think are retirees? And is that an area, kind of to Eric's piece, is that an untapped resource that we could maybe nudge some of them a little bit?
Well, I know for a while, they have to be out for a certain amount of year, and I'm not.
6 months.
Is it 6 months? Okay, 6 months before they are able to enter because of their retirement benefits. I believe you're right. We definitely can tap into that resource, and we have. I don't know what the percentage is. I know 2 offhand. Cindy is one of them, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but people who I worked with at Windsor Middle School, and I'd see them at the high school all the time. So it is an occurrence. I just don't have a number for you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board on this item? And I haven't asked at all for any of Pete's 7-item show here. Any comments from the public on anything that we have done related to teachers and credentialing in the last half hour? Okay, good. I feel better about that then. So I would entertain a motion for approval of item 5.7, the substitute teacher pay scale.
Bill?
Yes.
If I may, I'm going
Yes,
to
sir.
recuse myself because in the past and maybe potentially in the future, my wife is a substitute in the district.
Understood.
So I choose not to participate in this vote.
Okay, thank you very much. With the recusal of trustee Heights, We have a motion and a second, perhaps?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you, Rich.
I'll second.
Okay, second from Stephanie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's mark that as 4+1-1, Jen. Or I guess -0-1. Okay. Would you like to take a little break?
I'd appreciate that. Thanks for your time tonight.
5.8, the proposed textbook adoptions for Windsor High School Science presented by, it's wonderful to say out loud, our Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services, Sharon Ferrer. Welcome.
Thank you. So we are looking at adopting a new biology book called California Inspire Biology. It is follows the NGSS Next Generation Science Standards curriculum. There has not been a new adoption for a biology textbook at the high school in over 20 years. So this adoption would include not only hardbound books that we would have for class sets, but also digital platforms for all of the students. It will serve all of our biology students, our honors biology students, and our pre-AP biology students. So it will be well used. We bought about 700 licenses. That's how many students will be using it. I was not here when they went through the process of vetting different books, but they went through 4 different books and or curriculums and decided on this as a committee. So I would like the board to approve this.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
And it was mentioned earlier, we usually do something like this in consent, but since this is such a large purchase, we chose to make it public comment and public available comment.
Yeah.
This is over $100,000 issue. 700 textbooks, you know, people don't realize that they're hundreds of dollars each sometimes. So
These dollars have been earmarked for some time. We knew we needed to make this adoption, so it's been carried over in each budget to do this book adoption.
Wonderful.
And
Well,
we do have a textbook set aside that we can access for that as well.
we do.
Yeah,
We
it's
do.
actually 765 digital licenses and 270 textbooks.
For about 120. What was the?
Yeah, 120, 265.
Yeah, good. I think that, thank you, Eric, for pointing that out. I think it's very important for folks both here and at home to realize when we set aside what seems sometimes to be huge, hundreds of thousands of dollars for curricular materials. And this is why, you know, I thought you were going to say slightly more than 20 years. It would have been the last millennium, but now we have a 2022
And this will
textbook.
be an 8-year digital license.
Oh, good. Okay. With automatic updates and I think good, wonderful. And I like that it's online and technically compatible with our students. Okay.
Are we able to, after the 8 years, are we able to renew that license? Do you know what that cost would be?
I would
or-
assume yes, and I would assume the cost would be more.
Yeah.
My worry would be how one-to-one it would be in comparison with the textbook, but 8 years is, you know, a lot
likely
can
be-
happen in 8
It
years.
would likely be they'll have another renovation of the
Yeah.
district standard, the state standards, and so you'd have to have a new renovation of the textbooks as well.
All right. Any other questions, comments from the board? Any comments from the public on this item? I remember if I needed to do that. Okay, I'll entertain a motion then for item 5.8.
I'll motion to approve the purchase of the biology textbooks.
Okay, and from the science family at the end there?
I will second.
Okay, wonderful.
Let you go first.
We're going to go ahead and we'll, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's have that be 4+1-1. Okay, we are at 5.9. 5.9, consideration of approval of resolution 2023-1 for Sharon Ferrer to become the WUSD representative on the Sonoma County Adult Education Consortium Oversight Committee. And you're here, and if you could tell us a little bit of what the consortium is for the good of the order.
Okay, I've actually, so this is typically a role that the Director of Ed Services takes on. So Lisa Saxon had been the representative for Windsor Unified previously, and I'm stepping into that role. I've met with them, and I didn't even know it existed before then, but it's a consortium of a variety of educational agencies within the area that come together to offer different educational programs for adults. Some are classes for credit, some are classes just to learn like computers, just basic computer use, or citizenship classes. And at times, the consortium will ask to use specific facilities on different campuses, maybe at Windsor or Petaluma or Santa Rosa. So it's comprised of Petaluma Adult School, Santa Rosa City Schools, Santa Rosa JC, SCO, Sonoma Valley Unified, and Windsor. So I would be the representative.
Wonderful. Thank you for stepping up to that. Any questions or comments from the board on this item? Okay, I would entertain a motion then to approve Resolution 2023-01.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you, Rich.
I'll make a second. prior
Okay,
to the
thank
roll
you,
call.
Eric. Any public comment on this item, on the adult consortium? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board. This is a resolution. Jen, if we could have a roll call vote, please.
Rich Carnation.
Yes.
Bill Adams.
Yes.
Stephanie Ahmad. Yes. Eric Heights.
Yes.
Malinali Lopez.
Yes.
Student Board Member Jackson Caligari.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Jen. Well done. Our next item is item 5.10, consideration of resolution 2023-02 in support of Proposition 28, the Arts and Music in School Funding Guarantee and Accountability Act.
And I'm going to read to you. So Proposition 28 is a resolution attached that you guys would be considering adopting. And Proposition 28 would require a minimum source of annual funding for K-12 public schools, including charters, to fund arts education programs. The annual minimum amount established by the law would be equal to, at minimum, 1% of the total state and local revenues that local education agencies receive under Prop 98. This would equate to roughly $800 million to $1 billion increased education. And it's on top of Prop 98, not supplanting any of the dollars already coming to us. So consideration, you guys adopting a resolution to support this proposition.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I just want to thank Trustee Adams for bird dogging this. When it came out, you were aware of it or became aware of it, brought it to the board, and have been very diligent in shepherding this through. And I appreciate your diligence in this. It's important. And I think the way that it's put together is something we can all get behind. And I think it's going to be good for our students. So
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. It's gracious. Sir.
I just have one quick question. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
please go ahead.
It's very quick. I was just curious, does this cover only K through 12, or is this also for other types of schools?
Well, Prop 98 covers community college as well. So I'm assuming it'd probably cover community college, but I couldn't verify that for certain.
Mhm.
Is that what you're asking? Or
Yes.
I'm unsure.
Okay, thank you.
It's probably a TK-14.
I would think.
My question was, if approved tonight, will we advertise this on our website that we're in favor of this, or will it be spread in a newsletter or something that is put out by our communications director to let local voters know that the school is in favor of this and we'd like their support?
We hadn't planned for that, Eric, but I think it's a good recommendation.
I think that's something that I'd like you to consider, at
Okay.
least putting it out in something that goes to all the families in the district, maybe not, everybody in the community necessarily, but the families of the district, let them know that we're in favor and support this and would like their support as well.
And Malinali, Austin knew the answer. I should have just let him talk. It is TK-14.
Yeah, if, we're still discussing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what, I hope this thing passes on board, but also statewide.
Mhm.
And I hope, I just want to throw this out here before I forget. Just like a wrestling program or anything else, if you want something really good at a high level, you have to put a whole lot of effort into the little efforts. And so I hope that when we start thinking about when this passes and when we get the funding, that we really need to focus on exposure of the arts to the young ones. And, I don't know what that grade is. Is it third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, whatever? I think I started playing an instrument when I was in third or fourth grade.
Probably third grade.
I think we started off with a little quarter, and I was pretty damn good with that thing because it only took 8 fingers or 6 fingers, whatever. But anyhow, the whole point of the matter is there's a lot of kids that their parents and their relatives weren't exposed to music. And I know this isn't just music only, but they weren't exposed to music. So by us taking these funds and really starting to seed these younger kids and exposing them to things, to different music opportunities, as they get older, they can start to veer into whatever instrument they find more appealing to them, those kind of things. And so just as we start to think, not too far down the road, let's try to focus a little bit on getting our numbers up. I mean, if we could end up with 200, 250 kids that are in sixth, let's just say sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, then when they come into the high school, we're going to lose some of them. It's just the nature of anything that you're going to lose some. But if we get the number big enough in the youth, then we'll have a really good sized number to be able to accomplish a lot of our goals at the higher levels as well. So I don't know what that all means, how those numbers work, how we allocate things, but let's just start to think, hopefully, about making that investment in the younger grades with the younger kids. Let's expose everybody in the younger grades to the opportunity, and let's see what they make of it. So just, that would be my only real major comment on this.
I had one suggested potential amendment, and it's in the very last whereas. I am not sure, and maybe Austin, you could take the laboring oar on this, and the board could consider to just have you put in whatever the accurate number is. One of the questions when I was working on this with the Arts Education Alliance and the Economic Development Board and Creative Sonoma, they weren't sure if it was every last dollar that comes in, restricted and unrestricted. So if you could maybe pin that down, because 300,000.
He's worked it out, Bill. He knows what it is.
It's a bigger number, isn't it?
Mhm.
It is. Oh, that's what we want to hear. Okay, whatever that number is, and
And update it. It is. It's between 400,000 and 600,000, depending on whether 800 million to $1 billion is adopted. But that's based off of how they allocate it as well. But usually they allocate based solely off unduplicated students, which is our foster youth, English
Right.
learner, right?
would we be comfortable maybe saying an estimated 500,000? Because that has an awful nice ring to it.
I like it. Let's go.
So with that, I'm going to actually make the motion for this. Yeah, well, I would make a motion that we approve Resolution 2302. It'll be put on resolution format template once we do that, to change on the last whereas the estimated 300,000 to 500,000. I will share with you that my understanding is we are the first district to entertain a motion like this in the county. I think there is probably at least 10 more that are waiting to get this in the next few days that they will put it on because, of course, it's on the ballot in November. And now with early voting, I think sometime after Labor Day, we're going to get our ballots and we'll be in that. So thank you, board, for doing this. I will also share for Sharon, my understanding in Prop 28, as long as it doesn't get subsumed in the increasingly ugly 26 and 27 debate about online sports gaming. 28 has no opposition and it just needs to survive for people to vote that far in the ballot. That the money is required, as I've read the proposal, to be spent 80% on certificated staff. So I would hope that we could look at that, maybe have you talk to Elizabeth Robertson, maybe circle around in the spring so that we have a plan coming in. I think the distribution starts July 1 in the new fiscal year. And as part of that, maybe revisit our visual and performing arts strategic plan holistically, because this is an infusion going forward. So with that, I would make the motion that we consider approval of resolution 2023-02 as amended to change the number from 300,000 to an estimated 500,000 in additional annual funding.
I second the motion.
Okay. Any public?
I have one comment that I didn't get a chance to make.
Well,
Just because I don't think we touched on it, we know this, but I wanted to make sure that the public knows that this is not raise taxes. There's currently a budget surplus of $100 billion in California. So this comes out of, it's an allocation from the state general fund. So it doesn't increase taxes and we get to increase our arts education. So it's a win-win situation.
Thank you for that point.
Well done.
Any comment from the gallery? Grandpa Terry, you want to? No? All right. Okay. Oh.
My granddaughter switched to the AME core this year. Art's been her thing for a long time. So this might help keep all of that in place until she graduates. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you very much for your comments. Okay, with that, we'll bring it back to the board. Since this is a resolution, could we have a roll call vote, please, Jen?
Rich Carnation.
Yes.
Bill Adams.
Yes.
Stephanie Amott.
Yes.
Eric Hayes.
Yes.
Malinali Lopez. Yes. Student board member Jackson Calgary.
Yes.
Gleefully mark that one down as a 5+1. And now we, I think, have an omnibus thing in 5.11. Consideration of policies to be adopted. Williamson Uniform Complaint Procedures, Title IX Sexual Harassment Complaint Procedures, Sexual Harassment Complaint Procedures, and the Committee for Change Resolution. Who is carrying the water on that?
I will carry the water.
Go ahead, Superintendent Decker.
As the board is aware, we've been behind on our policy updates. So recently, we procured the services of somebody to help us get some of the most important policies in place to make sure that we were legally compliant. So these were the ones that were identified as really being needed to be updated. And there are very few changes. CSBA puts out model policies based on changes at the state level or changes in law or case law or whatever it may be. And then they send us updates to adopt, and we can change them if we want because we have that local authority. Many of these were changed very minimally. And the ones that were changed, you can see there's only two that have red line. One was a local policy, the Committee for Change proposal that you guys saw last year. That one had some changes. And then you also see, I believe it was sexual harassment. Can't find it. And yes, it was sexual harassment, BP 4119.11. This also went through our policy subcommittee. Thank you, Stephanie and Eric. Fun stuff. And so, yeah, willing to answer questions, but mostly these are taking the recommendations from CSBA and saying, let's get them in place. So if something comes up, we're following the law as it should be, and our defense will be defensible, if you will.
Super. Thank you for that very good explanation. Any questions from our loyal, faithful, and in hip deep policy committee members on these issues?
I just want to make sure I'm clear. So in the red line, that's where the changes were made.
It was made by us.
Right. And so we're adopting it with the changes.
Yeah, so we have a
Okay.
red line version and then a clean version. You're adopting the clean version ultimately with the red line showing you what was changed.
Just want to make sure we're good.
Yes, sir.
Give an overview of what we did. Okay, so we met and we went through, Eric and I went through all of these policies, read them all, and then I think we looked at the red line that had been made. We had some questions about different things. I think we made some edits to a couple, had questions for a couple more, and not too many. So it's pretty straightforward. You've probably all had a chance to review. Does anyone have any questions on the board?
I just wanted to say thank you. It's painstaking to go through this stuff and work through it. And I appreciate the effort you guys put in and the product that we've come up with.
Jeremy mentioned that we were behind, and I think every district in California was behind the last couple years with COVID and with changes in administration and with all the things that go on in education. These things never got caught up on, I don't think, anywhere. And so we may now be ahead of the game on what most districts are. And there will be more to come, of course, but extra couple hours of work for a few of us makes a big difference to make sure we're all in line and following the same path to be successful in the future.
And thank you very much for your service, Eric and Stephanie, on doing that. Just as a highlight for the board and for those watching at home, while these come up sort of as a matter of routine, and if you ever really want to look at them, you can go to the school board page, look at board policies, click on Granite, because every one of these is publicly available. We do, if there is a new Supreme Court case or something like that, we would mobilize quicker. Our school and college legal services would provide us an opinion that we would address it was really urgent in a special meeting or in our regular course of doing this. So I don't want people to think that we're not responsive as there needs to be adjustments. These just happen as a matter of course, and we haven't had a big lawsuit or anything about or a new proposition, for example, about education for some time. Any comments from the public about policies? Okay. With that, I'd entertain a motion, perhaps a motion and a second from our two policy members.
I will make a motion.
Thanks,
And I'll do
Stephanie.
the second, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Eric. All those in favor then of approving all the policies as articulated, the red lines are in our packet as set forth in item 5.11.
Aye.
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 Okay, mark that one as a 5+1. Thank you very, very much. Now to 6.1, the 2022 Future School Board Agenda Items Calendar. So thank you. It has all the recurring items that come up. I really wanted to go to the parking lot for future discussion items at the bottom of the second page, which has a wonderful amount of white space for us to start to fill up with ideas as we start a school year. As a reminder to the board and to Jackson, that's where we sort of throw things out that we'd like to explore, see if there's a sense of the board to maybe have Jeremy and folks work at that. I have two that I'd like to talk about. One would be, and I mentioned it when we did the resolution for arts, to have Sharon and Elizabeth talk and figure out, and maybe between now and end of the calendar year, revisit our visual and performing arts strategic plan and how that might morph and any suggestions you have. The other is, and I've been reminded again, to have that closed session security, to invite the police chief and the fire chief over. We do have authority under closed session provisions for security and safety. We have a district safety plan, which is robust and updated and compliant. This would be more along the lines of means and methods and things that, and sadly, in light of the Uvalde shootings and other things, for us to hear from our public safety partners sort of what the lay of the land is a sad part of our duties and the important piece if we need to make adjustments that may be made. Some may be announced in our safety plan, some might not be. So if we could figure that out, I think that would be good. I happened to speak to Chief Rosh, who's our town chief, and he has had a number of years of experience in the SWAT team at the sheriff's office, and would be very interested in talking about, interoperability of communications, interoperability of, for example, fire and police being able to slave into our camera system, which is something I never thought about, and things like that. So if we could figure out a time that we would do that, President Carnation, I think sooner than later would be better. So any other ideas for parking lot for future discussion items? Again, these are not really sort of tying down to when they would happen, but if people have pet projects or something that you'd like us to revisit. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I want to second the request for, I don't know what you call it, a public safety closed session
I think so.
meeting? I
yeah.
had a member of the public approach me about it. I know it's been something that you've been bringing up for the last few years, and I've been on the board for 4 years now, and we still haven't had it. So I think it's something that we definitely need to get on the calendar. Something I've been asking about and that I think is going to happen is looking at food, where food services kind of generally, I also, maybe I shouldn't be throwing this out here, but I thought it would be fun if we could all eat school lunch.
Okay.
I mean, I knew Rich would be down, but,
All
for
right.
eating school lunch.
We'll talk to Jennifer.
Do a field trip?
Yeah, I think we should do a field trip and eat school lunch, but I don't want to terrify the school lunch people. So,
You can't scare school lunch people,
okay,
Stephanie.
great. Then it's the perfect group for us to all show up.
Can we go on Sloppy Joe Day?
I heard they had birria tacos at the Windsor High School,
Oh,
so I'm up for that.
Okay, thank you. Eric, did you have any
Yes,
future school items or?
somewhat connected potentially to the food situation. We just had a discussion during the policy piece that we approved a little bit ago of the Committee for Change resolution. And a piece of that is the waste management contract. And maybe not the contract that the city is in part of or that we may be taking over in the future. That's a whole nother can of worms. But I would like to know in the future, have a report or a discussion about the changes that have been made or that will be made using the 3-can system or composting more at the food services department and things like that. Maybe the CSEA management could help with their situation on how the cleaning goes differently or how the waste goes differently and things like that, so that we don't put everything in the landfill.
Understand. We'll do that next month. We had something prepared this month, but some things happened that changed what the presentation would be.
I'll give you an update. To give you an idea, Eric. Just this morning, called Sonoma Resource Recovery and said, cans still aren't here. And they said, yeah, they were. They were dropped off yesterday. I'm like, I'm on site. They're not here. So that's where we're currently at with that.
Good, the world help. Thank you.
So I'm hoping next month we'll have something.
I have a couple of items. So I would like for us to establish some very specific benchmarks around diversity, inclusion, and equity. So I think that that's a very important conversation. And then also, I don't know if we've ever done an Indigenous land acknowledgement, but I think that that's also something that, should be important because we are on unceded Pomo land. So that's something that's really important.
Jackson's thinking about his for next.
What you got for me, Jackson? What you got?
I will wait. I will come up with something good, but I will wait.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else, anything that you might have? We're meeting, I know we have a special meeting on August 30 for board goals.
Board goals.
Do we have anything else right now on the docket before then our regular meeting in September?
I don't think so. Then we have another meeting with the town, I believe September 29th. Jen, is that right?
Our joint meeting, yeah.
Joint meeting with the town.
Yeah. So on that, and let's talk about that publicly because we can do it here. So there was a reach out from this town staff on behalf of the mayor and the vice mayor to meet with the president and vice president of the board to come up with several agenda items ahead of time, right? We're 5 weeks ahead of that meeting. Those meetings, for those of us who have been, can be very productive. They can also go sideways. I think we should think a little bit, and maybe we can get back after we convene and chat on August 30th.
Sure.
If that's enough time, can we go that long, Jen, for you to get back to her? Yeah, let them know we're getting back together. But think about what those things might be. In the past, we've talked about, enrollment facilities. One time we talked about north of Arata. We've talked about other coordination issues. Or things that people might want to. I mean, I want to thank the town manager now because when he was Parks and Rec guy, he's the one who said, of course you can have a homecoming parade, where for the first 20 years I lived here, it was impossible.
Basically, so we have two things. So one is we have to decide on the date that we're going to meet, but the other is what information we want to bring to that meeting, right?
Right. So I think what I'm saying, Rich, is let's have our board ruminate on this, and in a couple of weeks when we meet on the 30th, then have that meeting be maybe Jen for Rich and I with them after we meet on the 30th.
It's okay with you two. I'll schedule the meeting
Right.
after that.
Yeah.
I don't need to leave it till then. To
Right.
talk to them.
Good.
Let them know that you're going to be having. We'll get a date set, and we'll get the agenda
Information.
Yes. And in our collaborative, fine quality communication style here at the school district, we will have input from everybody about what, and certainly, Jeremy, that's not just the 5+1 of us up here at what you want to bring, and it comes out of your leadership team. I think that's valuable. This is a good thing. We've talked before, maybe we do 2 a year. It's been a while since we've done them with COVID and other reasons we didn't sit down. But yeah, okay. Anything else under future school board agenda items?
I just wanted to make a note that because this is our first board meeting back after school started, I wanted to keep it really short and whatever. So Superintendent Decker and I, we kept it very concise, tight, so we didn't have to spend a lot of time here. So the fact that I didn't talk a lot tonight has nothing to do with that we're leaving really early. It was more about the agenda. So I just want to, but I do appreciate you filling in for me, Bill, with my voice going bad. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Rich.
Never know where that's going.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
I was worried.
I don't have the mute button for him, so.
Could I ask one thing?
Oh, yeah,
Bill?
please.
Sorry. So this is for Jeremy potentially and new staff. Many of you are new to the leadership role. Prior to you coming to be our superintendent, we always met twice a month. There's a lot of things each month on this list that need to get accomplished with new staff. That may take more time, more energy, things like that. Are you still comfortable with us meeting once a month and then once in a while having an extra meeting? Or do you propose or consider that we might want to go back to twice a month?
I'm comfortable once a month. I mean, I'll take direction from you guys, but I feel like we can accomplish our business once a month.
I just want to make sure that new staff wasn't going to be overwhelmed and having to rush things and
No, they're not
Setting
overwhelmed at all in their new roles. Easy, we're undergoing
just
a
looking
federal
out for our
program
people. We
monitoring
don't
review.
want our people to get overworked and not stay with us. So, thank you.
I mean, just as but we keep an extra week in the month always reserved.
We do.
So if we do need it,
Yeah.
we're good. But I like, just me personally, I would rather have a meeting that went maybe an extra 45 minutes or an hour longer one night than twice. Because if we have a meeting twice, we will still have that meeting for that same period of time. It
Mhm.
seems to always work out. So I know that when we consolidate the meetings, I notice that we tend to focus a little bit more and we go a little, I know I go less squirrel when we have less stuff. So I think it's working out pretty good.
If it's an issue, I promise I'll come back and I'll make a recommendation.
Well, and I appreciate that we carve out these specialty workshops or single focus meetings when we do. I mean, because we are meeting 3 times a month or something, but other than this sort of general business meeting, we then can really focus on, and you can get our attention and we can make progress on those. And I think it's kind of the best of both worlds on how we've been doing it. But one of the things we have not had, knock wood, is where we might have, personnel or student matters in closed session, where as the school year is going along, that I can count maybe on one hand, I think in the last year, that we have reconvened to closed session after we ended public session. But again, that also is an option. We don't like to do it because we're here and we have to extend the meeting by 15 minutes through our board policies to do that. But I agree with Rich. I think if we can manage, and I have heard positive comments from your immediate support staff that doesn't then have to create 2 sets, including the one sitting to your left. Because you're right, we'll fill up the time. We'd be here, except, I went fast today and we had a short agenda. Okay, anything else for the good of the order before we entertain a motion to adjourn? Okay, what time is it, Rich? Let's look. Oh, okay.
Before Susanna
Just
picked the right
saying.
meeting.
I motion to adjourn.
Okay, thanks very much, guys. Have a great week at school. We will be back here for the board goals meeting on August 30th. Actually, in the district conference room. We won't be here. Okay, thank you, and we're adjourned.